Hey, welcome. So let's just jump right in. When we think about data, our minds usually go to things like sales numbers or marketing trends. But there's this quiet revolution happening, a secret force that's reshaping our entire professional lives. It's a force that's changing everything from who gets hired to who gets that next big promotion. And yeah, it's all powered by data. I mean, just think about that for a second. Could a bunch of numbers and algorithms actually predict your career path? It's a pretty wild question, right? But it's exactly what companies are trying to figure out right now. They're trying to forecast their own future by understanding the hidden potential right inside their teams. And this is the engine that makes it all possible. HR analytics. Really, all it means is swapping out guesswork for actual evidence. It's the science of looking at people-related data to make smarter, more objective decisions about, well, people. This isn't just about counting employees. It's about figuring out what makes a team and a company truly succeed. So let's get into the first big shift here. What we're seeing is a massive move away from that traditional HR playbook. We're moving out of an era that was all about gut feelings and into one that's driven by cold, hard facts. And this is a fundamental change in how companies manage their most important asset, their people. This little comparison really spells it out, doesn't it? On the one hand, you have the old way of doing things. Decisions were based on stories and feelings, and the main focus was just on administrative tasks. But now, on the other side, you've got this new reality. Decisions are backed by data, the focus is on strategy, and get this, it's even about predicting what's coming next. HR isn't just a support role anymore, it's a strategic partner. Okay, so how does any of this actually affect you? Well, let's start at the very beginning of your journey with any company, the hiring process. This is probably your first encounter with HR analytics, whether you even realize it or not. It's a whole new world. Companies are using data to figure out exactly where to find the best candidates, not just throwing a job ad out there and hoping for the best. They're using objective tests to cut down on bias, and they're building these predictive models. Basically, they analyze their current top employees to figure out what makes them great, and then look for those same traits in new applicants. The bottom line, every single step, from recruitment to your first day, is now being measured and optimized. So, you got the job. You're in. But believe me, the data's work is far from over. Actually, this is where it really kicks into high gear, impacting your day-to-day experience and shaping your growth, your rewards, and your entire journey inside that company. And this is where it gets super personal. We're talking about fairer performance reviews that focus on real metrics instead of just a manager's mood. It's about creating personalized learning plans that are tailored to your career goals, not some generic one-size-fits-all program. It helps make sure your pay is fair by comparing it to the market and other roles internally. It can even help optimize your workload to avoid burnout. Let's talk about pay, because it's become this really complex puzzle. It's not just about a base salary anymore. Companies are now digging into all kinds of market data to balance every piece, from bonuses to stock options to benefits, to create a package that's not only competitive but also really fair. Data helps them get that balance just right so they can bring in and keep the best people. Let's just pause on this for a second, because this is a huge deal for employees. It means your work, your contributions, can be measured against clear goals. Think about it. You have two people on a team. One is really vocal and great at self-promotion. The other is quiet but consistently delivers incredible results. Data helps make sure the results are what matter, which cuts down on bias and gets us a step closer to a true meritocracy. All right, hiring amazing people is one thing, but keeping them, that's the real challenge. And this is where HR analytics becomes an absolute powerhouse, one of a company's most important strategic tools. This is all about reward and, crucially, retention. Companies used to just guess what made their employees stick around. But now, they know. By analyzing huge amounts of data from both current and past employees, these really clear patterns start to show up. And as you can see here, yeah, fair pay is important, but having a clear path to grow in your career and having a great manager, well, those are often even more critical. Data helps companies focus their energy on the things that truly move the needle for their people. And what about that career path we just mentioned? Analytics lets companies get way ahead of the game here. Instead of scrambling when a key person decides to leave, they're using performance and potential data to spot and develop the next generation of leaders from right inside the company. It's amazing for business continuity, and it's fantastic for ambitious employees who are looking for that next step up. So finally, what happens when someone does decide to leave? In the old days, that was pretty much the end of the story. But in a data-driven company, an employee's exit isn't an ending at all. It's actually a vital source of information. This is what's called the attrition feedback loop. When someone leaves, data is collected really carefully through exit interviews and surveys. That info is then analyzed to find trends. Are people in one specific department all leaving for the same reason? Is there a certain policy that's causing frustration? Those insights lead directly to real policy changes that make the workplace better for everyone who stays. It becomes this constant cycle of learning and improvement. So, to wrap this all up, what have we learned? First, HR has totally transformed. It's now a strategic function that's driven by evidence, not just intuition. Second, from the moment you apply for a job to the day you leave it, data is quietly shaping your entire experience. And finally, the whole point of all this isn't just about being efficient. It's about building better, fairer, and more engaging places for all of us to work. But all this progress leaves us with one really crucial question to think about. As we lean more and more on data and algorithms to manage people, how do we make sure we protect those essential human elements, things like empathy, creativity, and connection that data can't always measure? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.